Educational opportunities. Thursday night study group with Sue Monahan, 7 p.m. Also, look for upcoming offerings from CSL Greater Baltimore soon. And for online educational opportunities, visit csl.org/spiritual development. Spiritual Principles and Practices is a new class we're offering starting September 11th, 5:30 to about 8:30 for 5 weeks, virtually in CSL's Zoom room. A $45 registration and a love offering to CSLGB. For more information, email info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Our board meeting is right after the service today in our Zoom room. Please see our website for more details. And join us as we build community one conversation at a time on the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month, 5:30 to 7, in our Zoom room. Find the link at cslgreaterbaltimore.com or .org. Quote of the week. When you're too close to something, it's impossible to see the larger picture. The defense system of your myopic vision will keep you from going outside the norm and acceptable peer projection. And that's from Christian Sorensen. Our World Peace Party, scheduled for September 30th, has been canceled, but we are still standing for peace. Let's take responsibility for world peace right where we are. The International Day of Peace will be celebrated by CSL Greater Baltimore on Thursday, September 21st. Join CSL, Global Heart of Peace Initiative, for a day of prayer and meditation to honor the United Nations International Day of Peace. Go to CSL's Facebook page, facebook.com/Centers for Spiritual Living. You can access these meditations by scanning the QR code that my head is covering up, or go to oneheartretreat-center.org/GHOP-peace-on-demand. Save the date. Our 2024 Spiritual Living Convention will be in Charleston, South Carolina, February 19th through the 22nd. Together, we're a force of love. More information coming soon. Lunch and Learn series facilitated by Archives Board President Dr. Jim Van Cleve. Join us as we listen to a rarely heard audio of Dr. Holmes and then engage in a lively discussion around his talk. That just happened this last Thursday, and the topic was overcoming fear. So join us next September, on the third Thursday at noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, using the csl.zoom.us/J/9109637219 to join. Tune in Tuesdays with CSL spiritual leader Reverend Soni Cantrell Smith, who wants to hear from all hearts and hands in the CSL field. And she's ready to honor your thoughts, dreams, and aspirations for science of mind in the 21st century. The conversation will take place September 5th at 12 Eastern p.m. Go to csl.org/calendar to register. CSL Connection Call. Meet the CSL Leadership Council and Doctoral Selection Committee on Monday, August 21st. There's a link, again, that I'm covering up, but you can go to csl.org/events to find these details. On sale now is the Spiritual Living 2024 Spiritual Spiritual Journal. Go to shop.csl.org to place your order. It's $14.95, 136 pages, a calendar at a glance and the themes for the month and the week for the global CSL and inspirational quotes. Join the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee on Monday, September 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also go to csl.org/calendar for more details. September 29th and 30th, there's a gathering of CSL members from across the globe. Our One Heart gathering is a member-focused event, and you'll experience the wisdom of world-class speakers, musicians, and facilitators. Go to shop.csl.org/member-virtual-gathering for more details. And there are always opportunities to join, volunteer, connect, and engage with CSL. We look forward to having you join us. Please contact any board member for any information.
Good morning, and welcome to our morning meditation. My name is Sue Monahan, and I'm the practitioner for the day. So I just invite you to get comfortable right where you are and lower your gaze or close your eyes, breathing in deeply and release. Breathing in and just letting go of anything that happened earlier today or that you have to do later on. Let's just spend this time for ourselves, remembering that right where you are is sacred space and a sacred place. So I'd like to just do a body scan and check our bodies, check to see if there's anywhere that we're holding tension, that we can get a little ease and release in that. And we'll start with our feet and our ankles. Maybe you want to tense those and then release with your breath. Move up into your calves and your shins and your knees. And just release any tension that might be there. Moving up into your hamstrings, your quads, your glorious gluteus maximus, your sits bones. And just find some ease there. Use your breath. Moving up into your solar plexus, your belly, your underbelly, your rib cage, and your back. Letting go. Letting go of your fingers, your hands, your triceps, your biceps, and your shoulders. Places that we hold so much tension. Just sending our breath, breathing in there, and just allowing some space. Release your neck muscles. And move up into your head, into your face. Just release your tongue from the roof of its mouth. Relax your jaw and all the muscles around your face. Just let this go and feel this ease in your body. Just take a couple deep breaths anywhere you're holding tension. And just send your breath to that part of your body and just release and let go. Breathing in, letting go. And releasing. Now I invite you to just visualize a golden white orb that is in front of your forehead. If you opened your eyes, you would see it. And just imagine that light there, this vibrant, radiant, brilliant light. And just allow that to flow over your body. Feel its vibration and its warmth. Let it flow over you like a breeze. Just feel that energy, feel that radiation, feel that light just completely surrounding your body. It just feels good. It feels natural. And I invite you to allow that light to move in through the crown of your head and down into your heart space. Allowing this light to open up and vibrate in our heart space. Allowing it to fill up our bodies. Just feel the harmony, feel the resonance in the light. Let it fill every place and space in your body. Let it resonate in every cell and fiber of your being. Let it move into the muscles and the joints. Let us open up our entire body. We are completely surrounded and immersed in this beautiful, divine, healing light. Anywhere in your physical body where you may feel discomfort, disconnect, or dis-ease, allow this light to permeate, to radiate, to vibrate, and to bring you in alignment with the divine harmony that is this light, that is you. You are this light, and it is magnificent as you are. So we just breathe into this and allow this into our being, into our hearts, into our thoughts and our minds. Anywhere that you may be holding tension. And I also invite you to allow this into your emotional space. Sometimes our bodies hold emotional trauma. It could be something that you're dealing with presently, or past traumas, past events, just anything that takes you to a place and space of not being worthy, of not being the fullness of the divinity that you are. Our emotions are there to assist us. And so if you can bring up something in this safe place and space, and just allow this light to permeate the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body. Just give yourself this time to feel the goodness that is you, to allow yourself to breathe in, to align yourself with your divine divinity. You are that which God is. You are the perfection of the divine. Let this light reveal to you. Let this light heal you. Let this light be you. We are in, as, and of spirit in all moments. There is never any separation. Even when we're caught or stuck in something else, we are always the divine expressing. We are always the beloved and who God, Goddess, is well pleased. We open up our hearts to this love. We let it emanate from this space. We let it radiate from this space. We are in divine harmony with that nature, which is the truth of our being. Our affirmation for this week is, I am a spiritual being having a perfect human experience. I am a spiritual being having a perfect human experience. And I'd like to leave you with a prayer from Ernest Holmes from this thing called You. He says, I know that I'm a perfect being now, living under perfect conditions today. Knowing that good alone is real, I know that there is one power which acts and reacts in my experience, in my body, in my thoughts, and in my emotions. I know that good alone has power either to act or react. Everything that I do, weigh, or think today shall be done, said, or thought from the spiritual viewpoint that God, who is life, is everything. I know that this recognition establishes the law of harmony in my experience, the law of prosperity, a sense of happiness, peace, health, and joy. Today, I hold communion with this invisible presence, which peoples the world with the manifestations of its life, its light, and its love. I withdraw the veil which hides my real self and draw close to the Spirit in everything, in everyone. I accept everything that belongs to the Spirit. I claim everything that partakes of its nature. It is good. It is so good. I'm so grateful. And so it is.
clouds are sending, the clouds are sending, the clouds are sending messages my way. The clouds are sending messages my way. I rise up in the morning time, dear heart, clear mind, feel the sunlight on my face, ready to make a brand new day. I don't know what it will be, I just know it starts with me. To give what I came to give, I gotta go, I gotta fight, I gotta live, I look high, yeah. I look high. The clouds are sending messages my way. The clouds are sending messages my way. Right the morning time, clear heart, clear mind, feel the sunlight on my face, ready to make a brand new day. I don't know what it will be, I just know it starts with me. To give what I came to give, I gotta go, I gotta fight, I gotta live, I look high, yeah. I look high. The clouds are sending messages my way. 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 Hey. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. Thank you for joining us from wherever and whenever you are. I'm your host, Robin Fahrenholt. Our speaker today is Reverend Kathleen Sibley. Our musician is Amashanda. Our practitioner is Sue Monahan, who led that wonderful pre-service meditation. Thank you all for your service. At CSL Greater Baltimore, every Sunday is an invite a friend or family member Sunday. Make sure you spread the word and invite someone to service. We would love to have you join us. Please go to our website, CSL Greater Baltimore, to see what events and opportunity to connect that we have. And now our practitioner, Sue Monahan, will lead us in an opening prayer.
Good morning. So today, as I breathe in the divine flow that is life, that is always moving, living, and having its being through each and every one of us. We are the delight of the divine. We are the way the divine finds expression. We are the expansion of the cosmos, and it is so good. So I'm grateful today to come together to experience the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore, the music and the talks and all of the events that are going on. I am so grateful for this. So I open my mind and my heart to receive. We are in the divine flow as the divine flow itself, and it is good, and so it is.
If you missed our announcements about upcoming events earlier in the service, please visit our website, cslgreaterbaltimore.org/events for events and announcements of upcoming activities. My favorite part of service, because prayer works. Prayer works. As a community, we continue to treat and move our feet. We pray and we act, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Prayer requests can be sent via email to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org, and a practitioner will respond within 24 hours. Our musician today is the talented and beautiful Amashanda. So let her voice lift your heart and your soul as she shares her talents with us.
Greetings and good morning, everyone. I am so grateful to be here today. This song that I'll be sharing with you now is a message that as we journey through our lives, it is important that we trust and believe in love. Without further ado. As you walk along your path, you may find seeds of self-doubt springing forth from your fertile mind. You must weed them out. Sometimes the signs that you will see include confusion, a sense of disillusion, and you can't put your finger on it. Trust and believe in love. Oh, trust and believe in love. Keep on going. Trust and believe in love. Trust and believe in love. In love. Walk along your path. You may find seeds of self-doubt springing forth from your fertile mind. You must weigh them out. Sometimes the signs that you see equal confusion, a sense of this illusion, and you can put your finger on it. Trust and believe in love. Trust and believe in love. You can make it in the end. Trust and believe in love. It's holding you, it's holding you. Trust and believe in love, in love, in love. As you walk along your path, you may find seeds of self-doubt springing forth from your fertile mind. You must weed them out. Sometimes the signs that you see include confusion, a sense of this illusion, and you can't put your finger on it. Trust and believe in love. Oh, trust and believe in love. It will hold you through. Trust and believe in love. Oh, trust and believe in love. In love. In love. Oh, in love, 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 breathe in love, in love, in love, in love. Thank you.
Now, our practitioner du jour, Sue Monahan, will lead us in spiritual practice. Thank you, Sue.
So Sue has demonstrated the spiritual practice of sitting and waiting to hear that still small voice within each and every one of us. So I'll ask you to join me now in that practice. So close your eyes, get back into the body that Sue helped us do a check-in on earlier. Allow yourself to be at peace. Allow yourself to recognize that divine love within you. Breathe it in. Breathe in the energy of life itself. Breathe in life. Breathe in love. Breathe in peace. And come to a place of waiting, where you have done everything you need to do, and it's time to allow spirit to carry it. Whatever it is, whatever it sounds like, whatever it smells like, whatever it feels like, emotionally or physically. Just come to a place within you where you are receptive, where that which has never failed you is available to you to speak clearly, to be heard clearly. And just rest in this for a moment. Your only job is to breathe and listen. And so we begin. Oh, goodness. So, that song, oh my gosh, Amma, that song had me just going, I need to be able to talk after this. I need to be able to talk. Trust and believe in love. Isn't that what we're taught to do? Isn't that what we are absolutely trying to learn how to do in these rooms and with these talks and these classes that we do? I am so happy to say that this act of listening, this act of trust is beginning to be something I'm seeing across our movement and across the globe. Reverend Sunny Cantrell Smith, who is our spiritual leader, holds a monthly listening session. And there's anywhere from 20 to 50 people on each one. And all she does is throw out a question. What's getting in our way? What's lifting us up? What does this teaching look like in the 21st century? How does it appear in the world? And then she listens to the voice of God as each and every person on the call. She doesn't comment. She doesn't argue. She just listens and allows Spirit to speak through every single person who shows up. Why? Because it is the voice of God speaking. Because she has learned, and this is what makes her a great spiritual leader, she has learned that when she listens to the voice of Spirit in all its different forms, even the clouds bring messages. There are sermons in stones. And so I invite you to begin the act of trusting that you have a purpose. And this purpose is so deeply a part of you, so completely a part of you, so perfectly a part of you, that there is no way for you to miss it. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? You can't fail to live your purpose. One way or another, it's going to come out. Whether it comes out easily or more like a kidney stone is up to you. I didn't say a baby because I want the guys to understand what we're talking about as well. So I used a word in there on purpose, and that word is perfect. That word has been the bane of my existence through a large chunk of my life because I have been a perfectionist in my lifetime. I have driven myself literally into collapse in order to do, be, and have all the things all at once and make sure that everything was perfect. I had to have my ducks in a row. And I finally figured out the only way to have all my ducks in a row and keep them there was to buy lots of rubber duckies, line them up, and stare at them. Well, guess what? That gets boring very quickly. What I want you to remember is that there's two kinds of perfection. One is human perfection, and one is divine perfection. In our teaching symbol, that circle you often see that we display in our music and in our decor and in our jewelry and everywhere else, it's a great big circle, but the top part is the divine ideals. That is where spirit is, our beyond our human comprehension and yet infinitely part of us. That kind of perfection is not the same as human perfection. Human perfection is an attempt to reach divine perfection that in our culture often misses the mark completely, like completely gets it wrong. In human perfection, we try to get to a certain place and then freeze it in time. Well, I don't know about you, but I find it very hard to freeze time and get the rest of the world to agree with me long enough for it to stay froze. To be humanly perfect is to begin to stagnate, to begin to die, to actually not be alive. To be alive, in part, requires that you are growing and changing. To be humanly perfect requires that you never ever change. So let's give up perfection at that level. Because divinely perfect is something very different. Divinely perfect means whole and complete. It means that there's nothing missing and nothing extra. So whatever we find within us or in front of us is exactly what is supposed to be there. Now, that doesn't mean we will enjoy it. It means that the divine part of us created it through us, through our thinking and our being and our believing, which lead to our activities. So we have created our lives exactly as they are. Stop and think about that for a minute. Did you go right to judgment? Did you go right to how the heck did I manifest that? I didn't mean to get sick. I didn't mean to be abused as a child. I didn't create any of that. Insert favorite expletive. I want you to hear me. We don't consciously create pain. We don't consciously create abuse or institutional racism or any of that stuff. Collectively, humanity has said okay to all of that stuff because somewhere in that vast subconscious, in that vast shared subconscious that has been growing and being added to over time ever since humans had thought, and probably before that, somewhere in there somebody said, I would rather somebody else hurt than me. And so we created racism. We created abuse. We created addiction out of, not because we're mean or horrible or bad, but because we were trying to figure out how to live in a way that worked for us. So let's come back to now. Now we have this life that we have created. We came into this world with a certain sense of purpose, something we came here to do. And we want to be perfect at it because we've lost track of the correct definition of perfect. So we look at our lives and we think, I don't need all this extraneous junk. I don't need debt. I don't need to live at, a substandard wage. I don't need all this stuff. Well, guess what? That stuff that is in your life was created by the collective consciousness in response to a heartfelt need or desire within you. So maybe I believe consciously that money doesn't grow on trees, and if you're going to have it, you better work for it. Okay, I've just created struggle because the universe always says yes, and it comes through, rather than coming through as abundance, It comes through as I can only have as much as I can earn. And there's that underlying sense of, and the world is against me, and I'm not going to get help, and I'm going to have to do it on my own, and I have to struggle. Okay, the universe is going to say yes to that. We are told by the master teacher Jesus to be perfect, even as our Father in heaven, or which is in heaven, is perfect. What that means is look at your life and understand that everything that is necessary for your love and joy and success and living of your purpose is already right there. And even the stuff that seems to be an obstacle was necessary as a finger pointing at, hey, look, you're believing in struggle. The good stuff is there too, but you've tacked struggle onto it. Untack the struggle and you can just have the good. It's interesting that the human mind, no matter what culture we're in, recognizes that we put struggle into our lives kind of as if it were an obstacle, and yet that is the divine part of us doing that. You know, we talk about Ganesh, who is the one wearing the cowboy hat over my shoulder. Ganesh is called the remover of obstacles. He is the one who comes into our lives, according to the Hindu tradition, and takes obstacles out of our path. The part that most people don't recognize about Ganesh is he is also the giver of obstacles. He gives you things to climb over. He gives you things you have to go around. Now, if we're little kids and accept that all of it's good, we call that a playground. We climb up over the jungle gym. We climb through it. We play in it. And yet, as a human trying to get from point A to point B, I might see that as in my adult serious self, trying to be perfect all the time and always on time. I might see that as just an obstacle. It's a toy. And it doesn't matter which one it really is because I'm deciding which one it is. So these things that we call our faults and our obstacles and those things that keep us from being humanly perfect, those are there for a reason. Now, as religious scientists, we don't sit in shame and blame around that. We don't worry about, oh, did I do this because I'm a bad child of God? No, we didn't. We did it either because we got bad data and thought that our good had to come with a struggle, in which case you don't sit there and chew on the bad data. You get rid of it. You take it out and you move into a greater truth. So as we learn to trust in love because it is perfect, we learn to trust in the divine, we learn to trust in the universe, and treat everything as if it was there as part of this great conspiracy for our good so that we may live our purpose. As we do that, we shall become happy, prosperous, and well. That is the promise made to us. So, what do we have to do? Here's the first thing that we have to do. We have to be willing to play. We have to be willing to treat this life as a grand experiment, or as Dr. Petra Wellness would say, it's just a pilot program. We're going to try this. We're going to see what happens. And whatever data we get back, we will use so that when we go back and do something the next time, we absolutely do it in a way that serves us better and is more fun. Okay? I think fun is one of the qualities of God that we miss a lot. So, we have to practice being okay with getting back data that says, don't ever do that again. You know that thing you just did? Don't ever do that again. Now, we call that wisdom and experience, and you need some in order to get a job. But in order, I've got a lovely coaster that says, in order to be old and wise, first you must be young and stupid. Stupid enough to know that that thing that you're about to try, it can't be done. And surprise, surprise, because you don't know it can't be done, sometimes it works. That's how I got through college. There's a famous story about Jim Carrey, the actor and the comedian, who said he learned this great lesson from his dad, who wanted to be an entertainer, would have been a great comedian. but he took the safe path because he thought he was being responsible, because he wanted to be a good person. And at that time, it meant you did something that provided for your family. So he became an accountant. Now, when Jim Carrey was 12, his father lost his job, and they had to do whatever they had to do in order to keep it, keep it together, keep a roof over their heads, and so forth. And what Jim learned from that is you can fail at the thing you didn't want to do in the first place, the safe option. You can fail at that too. So you may as well go after the thing you actually want. There is something soul killing about settling for a life that is defined by other people as good, as adequate, as responsible. This is how we get things like ulcers and heart conditions. It's because we've chosen the path that doesn't suit us. And so we're trying to walk in shoes that don't fit. Ever tried to do, any woman who has worn stiletto heels knows exactly what I'm talking about. They flip and hurt. They're not designed for the human foot. And yet, we try and walk around in them. Why? Because somebody else told us it would make us look good. Thank God I broke my foot. I can never wear heels again. Yay! Never thought I'd say that. So Jim Carrey teaches us to try, if you're going to fail anyway, and if you're not failing every so often, you're not trying hard enough. So you may as well fail at the thing that at least brings you some semblance of life and love and joy. And believe it or not, our culture is starting to shift toward being okay with making mistakes, being okay with running the experiment and just dealing with whatever data we get back. Failure, success, we don't know. As a matter of fact, at Google, they had what they used to call, I think they're called failure parties. Yeah, they celebrate failures. So the idea is that every willingness to run the experiment, every time you try something new and it doesn't turn out the way you meant it to, you have learned something. And what the owner of, sorry, it was Intuit, not Google. Every failure teaches something important that can be the seed for the next great idea. Every failure teaches something important that can be the seed for the next great idea. So, okay, I tried making a stew and I thought I grabbed the ketchup, but I threw in Tabasco in the same amount. There might be a great idea somewhere in that, but there's also the idea that that did not work. And that doesn't mean I stop eating or trying to cook things. It means that I pay more attention to what I'm allowing into my particular stew. One of the great, what we used to call COVID bonuses, was that during the shutdown, towards the end of it, I had learned to slow down and actually had time to try some stuff I had never tried before. Now, I am not an artist. My stick figures are about as good as it gets. They get the point across, but they are not, Leonardo da Vinci, I am not. And that's fine. But I wanted to do something with color and with style and with making beauty. And so I figured, I've got time. I'm in a wonderful place in which I actually have this thing called disposable income. Maybe not a ton, but enough. And I, just like the rest of America, I've been playing on social media and watching YouTubes and learning how to do all this DIY stuff the cheap way, which means watching somebody else do it. But I wanted to try it myself. I love antiques. I love the big old grandfather clocks in a foyer and, the round tables with the gleaming wood and all of that yummy stuff. Okay, so I'm not quite there yet in terms of socioeconomic status, but I went to a thrift store and I bought what's called a grandmother clock, which is a little grandfather clock. It's battery operated. It was pretty much made out of cardboard, but it looked, it was close enough for government work. And then I went and I bought chalk paint. Now, I didn't know how to use chalk paint. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I bought some primer. I brought, I had a room that didn't have carpeting in it, so I put down some plastic sheeting and went to town. And I learned by trial and error. And at the end, I had this beautiful clock that had a shelf on it for flowers, and it just brought together my living room in a beautiful way. And every time I looked at it, I not only got the joy of having a pop of color, which I wouldn't have usually tried, I had the joy of, I did that. Now, if it had failed, if I had accidentally broken it and was no longer even like usable to tell time, I would have wasted maybe 30 or 40 bucks, but I've had fun and I pushed the limits of what I thought I could have. Where in your life could you be doing that? If this month you have been looking at your purpose, which is what we're supposed to be doing, what's one tiny little step that you could try? I'm not saying quit your job and move to Timbuktu, eat cupcake and, meditate 12 hours a day in your underwear. I'm saying, what's one little step you could try that won't break the bank, that won't end the world if it doesn't work out the way you think it should? What's one little thing you could do? See, part of my purpose as a minister is to model being fully Christed and fully human at the same time. And what that means is I need to push the boundaries of how big, of how true, of how real, of how loved I can possibly be. Part of my job, part of my sole purpose is to continue living a little louder and a little bigger every day. So in those moments where I find myself shrinking in, I know I'm losing energy. I know I'm not feeling as well. And I know it because I'm not on purpose. So something as little as buying a $20 cardboard battery operated clock and then slapping paint on it with the help of 2 cats, good luck with that part, has now led to other things. Because I got into the habit of being uncomfortable, I just signed up to go to Kenya next February. I never thought I'd go to Kenya. I never thought I'd learn Swahili. I never thought I'd go to a country where I didn't speak the language. It's just the next step. And in the meantime, I get to have a life worth maybe someday writing memoirs about. Not, a book about washing paint dry. There is, in the Jewish tradition, a belief that it's in the mystic Kabbalah, that when the world was being formed, the infinite being that is the divine, specifically the divine feminine, tried to take on form and in the process shattered. And so there's little God bits all over the place in the world. And our job, called Tikkun Olam, is to find those shiny little bits and put them back together. So the little tiny God bit that was a clock, that was really willingness to try something for me, I pulled that back. Jim Carrey took that little God bit that looked like his father's unhappiness not following his dream and used it, pulled it back into himself, and it became part of his divine perfection, his wholeness. He used it to become the artist that he is today, with a very strong metaphysical bent, by the way. We were talking, before service started, somebody was talking about how one of our members is in West Virginia and started singing the song about Almost Heaven, West Virginia. And I remember driving with one of my colleagues in her convertible, I think it's a BMW, with those songs, John Denver's music, blasting as we drove through the Rocky Mountains, warbling, screeching Rocky Mountain High, and Take Me Home Country Roads and all of that stuff. And part of the reason I love John Denver is because he's one of us. He was married at Mile High. His music was often played in CSL, pre-CSL, but in our centers because that's how he earned money in the early days. He would come and sing for us. What would happen if he hadn't been willing to try singing in a center or a church at the time, just to, make enough money to get through the week or whatever. I don't know what it took for him. He was willing to live on purpose, making beautiful music, and try being in a center. And the answer became that he got the teaching, which became some of the best music of his generation. Tikkun Olam teaches us to gather up those broken, missing parts of the divine within each and every one of us. So your job, if you are to live your purpose, is to find those little broken, shiny bits that are little tiny God shards and pull them in and use them to live your purpose. So your homework this week, should you choose to accept it, is to try one thing and see if you find a God shard. One thing that you've never done before, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's painting, maybe it's, I don't care if it's playing the kazoo in Times Square. Try something different, try something just a little bit outside your comfort zone and see where it leads you. Run the experiment, this thing we call life. And I celebrate with you already whatever good you get out of it, whatever great data you pull back. And because I know this is exactly what we want and how it needs to be, I'm going to prayer, because that is the grand experiment. We go to prayer and we call in good. And we get the blessing from it, just like that. So in this moment, I ask you to join with me. Join with me in knowing that if God is truly all there is nowhere we can stumble where God is not. There is nothing we can do or be or have that is outside of God. And so as we stay true to this knowing of the divine within us, as we trust in the infinite love, the infinite life energy that we call God, we discover ourselves. We discover who we really are. And we shine brightly with that God light. And that lights up the whole world. And so in this moment, what I know is that God is now shining brightly through each and every one of us, is now sparkling from some idea or some experiment that each one of us is called to try, to just give it a shot. Let's not throw away our shot. And so in this moment, the divine within us is urging us to try something new, is urging us to have a new thought, to have a new experience, to have a new life that is more life. The master teacher says, I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. And so in this moment, I invite you to not just believe in the master teachers across time, but to believe them when they say they have come that we may have an end to suffering, that we may have a removal of obstacles, that we may have life more abundantly. I invite you to join in with me. And I stand here in the truth that they were not teasing us. In this moment, I know that that promise has been made, and I claim it on behalf of all of us. I know we are perfect, whole, and complete. I know that the life that we live in this physical world must reflect our spiritual truth. And so that is the promise and the call that I now put into the law of cause and effect, into natural law, which is already going to work and making it so. And so I rest in that. I believe it to be the truth. I know it to be the truth with every fiber of my being. And so I rest and I trust in love. And so it is. Hey, Robin.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. I'm just trying to think where my kazoo is. Amma doesn't need a kazoo. She's got a voice of an angel. So please enjoy this musical selection by Amma Chandra.
Greetings, everyone. After such a powerful message from Reverend Kathleen, it's really important to me how the works tend to synchronize in beautiful ways. So I'm going to leave you with the song medicine of loving your life, evoking the frequency of love of your life. and I hope that you enjoy. I'm going to start that again. I drink coffee in the mornings, but sometimes he's on my mind. Love the sun on my skin, but sometimes the rain feels fine. When I lay in my bed, the softness of my sheets, the only thing that beats this thing would be a kiss upon my cheek. I love my life, and I'm doing fine. I love my life, this groove that's mine. I'm so gently through the world, this big old southern small town girl. She's doing fine. She's doing fine. I love my mama. I should call her more often. I love my daddies, both of them. I love my sisters and my brothers, all my friends and my old lovers. I'm doing fine. I love my life, and I'm doing fine. I love my life, this groove that's mine. I'm so gently through the world, this big old southern small town girl. She's doing fine. She's doing fine. There is love in my heart. There is light in my eyes. Difficulties made me strong so I can fly. Ancestral hands, they lead me to the promised land. I love my life, and I'm doing fine. I love my life, and I'm doing fine. I love my life. This groove is mine, this groove is mine. I move so gently through the world. This big old southern small town girl, she's doing fine, she's doing fine. Say I love my life. Say I'm doing fine. Say I love my life, and I'm doing fine. Say I love my life. Say I'm doing fine. I love my life. I'm doing fine. I love my life. I'm doing fine. When I changed the way I looked at things, the way I saw those things, I felt the love was always there, existing inside my life, inside my life, inside my life. So let's love our life, love our lives, let's love our lives, love our lives, let's love our life, love our lives, love our lives, love our lives, love our lives, let's love our life. Love our lives, love our lives, love our lives, love our lives. Let's love our lives. Because honestly, we're doing Fine. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Amma. Thank you, my friend. Wow. I think the bottom line here, if it's not fun, why are you doing it? Let's think about that. Thank you again, my dear.
Thank you.
I'd like to share with everyone our vision. And although it's a vision which makes you think about sight, I'd like you to close your eyes and picture in your head as I read this aloud. We are demonstrating a world that works for all. One life affirming thought, word, feeling, deed, and human interaction at a time. The mission is to provide the community with the tools, techniques, and talents the science of mind and religious science offer, that they awaken to the divine truth of their being for the purpose of living life to the fullest, of loving their life. So, this is the time of service where we are reminded that practicing the law of circulation, what comes around goes around, and the more you give, the more you get, is one of many ways that we support our spiritual center. It supports where we are spiritually fed while also supporting the business of running a center. As we give, so we receive. So, how do we tithe, offer, or donate? There are many ways to give, and you can find them on our website. For more information, go to cslgreaterbaltimore.org/giving. And as you make your tithe of your talent, your treasures, your time, think about this declaration of financial wealth and abundance. Because together as a community, let us declare our financial wealth and abundance. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of not only standing in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talents, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. If you would like the practitioner on duty to pray with you, please join us via Zoom and type prayer in the chat. Someone will be right with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Whether you're watching this in real time or you're going to watch it later, know that you are awesome. Follow your passion. Look for what makes you have fun. Question. Be curious. And most of all, know that you are divine. Namaste and have a wonderful week.
Okay, so we absolutely know that all life is divine. Some of it's fuzzier than others. So in this moment, what I know is that we are all on purpose. And as we have come together in the name of love to understand that which is ours to do, we absolutely move forth into this world and allow the obstacles to just make us giggle, to allow it to become love trying to get our attention. And so I bless this time together. I release it knowing that as we go into community on Zoom from the CSL website, we are continuing that love and that sense of purpose. I bless it all. I call it good, and I offer up the rest of this week to Spirit's use. And so it is.